Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to day 2 of Tier List Week. We are talking about the batters today. Now, it's important to note that the way that this tier list was crafted, by tier list, you know what I mean? They're going to be in their individual tiers. They are not in order. We're going to kind of talk about them in groups of F5. Every tier list during this week is going to be a 5-tier situation, and we're going to just talk about them in an open discussion. There's no hard rankings. Let's say it again here. There's no hard rankings.
Hey, Tyler, I have a question.
Yeah, what's up?
So are the characters, are they ordered within their tiers?
No, they're not ordered. There's actually no hard rankings.
Oh, okay. Good to know. Good to know.
So that's something that you guys all need to know. And for this one specifically, it's a little hard to do bats, right? Because you got to take into account star hits and, oh, this person's star hit's so much better if I make it cost 1 less. Well, to spoil a tier list coming up in the future, there will be a captain tier list at some point this week. And because of that, we are going to treat every character in this tier list as a non-captain. So every captain ability costs 2 stars for the sake of this tier list.
I think that's fair.
Let's dive right in. We're going to talk about the Mario tier of batters. These 9 hitters are basically, you're never drafting them for their bat. You might be someone that can make something land with them, but they're just not good.
Yeah.
Those characters are Peach, Koopa, Paragoomba, Goomba, Baby Luigi, Monty, Toad, Toadette, and Waluigi.
Yeah, Nick, you go ahead.
These are your niche hitters where you pretty much have to pick one of these characters for your 9th pick almost every time. And you just have to practice with 1 or 2 of them, get really good with a bat, get consistent, and they're going to be fine. But it's that amount of work that you have to put in for just a simple single that is pretty ridiculous for most of these characters. Like, I put in a lot of work with Waluigi, and he's the only character on this list that I consistently see myself picking. Joey can say the same about Toadette.
Yeah. So I would say, again, to note, these characters are not characters you're going to pick for their bats.
Not at all.
They're being picked for other attributes or not picked at all, really, because they don't have other attributes that are really good to the game. So I think I'm just going to take the reins here. We're going to talk about Toadette.
Go for it.
I think Toadette is honestly the best character listed in this section.
For their hit.
Yeah. Also, probably in general also, but for their hit, yes. I think you can argue
on both fronts.
I disagree entirely. Yeah.
I don't think there's a better character in this tier. We're not going to get into Goomba, I guess. But as far as slap hits go, her hit itself, among the worst of this group, for sure. But she has one thing that none of these other characters have, and that is 9 speed, the fastest speed in the game. So when Goomba or Baby Luigi or Monty Mole or Koopa hits a little dribbler down the left field line, they're getting thrown out at first. Toadette's going to beat that out half the time. Just like having that speed, which I think is kind of wrapped into batting, base running speed. Mm-hmm. That alone, I think, makes her better than most of the characters here. I will say maybe not the best, but most of them, I think, maybe all 1 or 2 of them. I think she's the best base runner out of all of them.
I'm not going to disagree with that. I think with that argument, with a base running argument, you can only say she's better than the characters that would be hitting singles less frequently than she would anyway. Because I think it's kind of hard to argue that Waluigi, Toad, and maybe even someone like Monty, they just actually get hits more than the other characters. Yeah. It's not enough to put them into the next tier up like some other characters, but I think just saying that like a Waluigi is going to get on a third of the time and Monty and Toad are going to get on like a fourth of the time is better than Toadette's hit never getting her on, and sometimes she might just beat the run to first.
Yeah, but she still gets singles. I mean, if you've watched me play this game, you can see that she gets
singles.
I
just don't think you can say she's better than everyone else.
Our stats video is going to come out after this, and I think she has a better batting average than every character in this tier except for Waluigi. But who's to say?
Paragoomba have like a weirdly good.
We're gonna talk about him.
So I
stats
think
are skewed when people only pick the same people pick the one character.
Yeah,
I think with this tier list, everyone might watch this and see I hit with this character. Well, I hit with this character. I think this is a really subjective player pool. I think if you were to task every single player in this game at task level, every player could perfect a home run. So you could get good with pretty much any hitter, and then from there, it's like what other abilities do they have. So like with Toadette, what Joey said, she has the 9 speed. But Joey has worked time and time again to get good with Toadette. But Toadette still objectively has a weaker bat, and that's just it is what it is. She's a very hard character to use. I love Goomba. Nick loves Waluigi. Tyler loves Peach. But there's just you have to be more precise with your inputs if you really want to land hits and practice more. And I think that there is definitely upside for maybe even a few of these characters too. Like Paragoomba has Bowser, Chem, and 7 speed. If you could really get good, Paragoomba, that's a pretty good first third baseman. But the bats, objectively, these are the hardest to use.
Yeah, for sure. And I think there's not much to say about a lot of them. I think with Waluigi, he probably has the best bat in this tier.
I think that's probably true.
But I think a big thing for him is that often when he hits the ball, it doesn't go very fast. This is a problem for a lot of these characters. They have low power on their swings.
Yeah, like,
so you can hit it right up the middle with Waluigi, which with most batters will be a hit. And the fielder just gets to it because it doesn't leave the infield fast enough.
Yeah.
Which is something that I think, I don't know, I feel like I see that with Waluigi more than any other character. But I still think he does the best job hitting it down like the left field line, and he's probably the best in this tier. Otherwise, I don't think there's too much to say about these other characters. They just have mediocre bats.
All right, then we're going to move on up to the official low tier of batters. Once again, I'm going to rattle off. It's another 9 names, so just bear with me. The 9 that were just on the screen, they're gone. Now you've got Diddy Kong, Dixie Kong, Shy Guy, BJ, Baby Mario, Luigi, Daisy, Wario, and Noki.
Here's where a lot of the controversy starts, because half of this tier has to see every single game.
Yeah.
And some people have gotten a lot better with some of these bats. For example, I mean, I have a great Wario bat, but you're going to see the same situation with a lot of things. Like some people just don't click with a bat like other people do. Some people haven't put in enough time. But these are the people who you're actually like, okay, these are my singles hitters for the most part. These are going to be like, okay, I learned a couple of these bats. Some of them are pretty intuitive and easy. I'm going to be hitting singles with them, but they're probably going to be lower in my lineup. Some of them have decent stars as well, like a Diddy Kong, like a Noki, like a Wario, like a Bowser Jr. I hesitate to say like a Daisy. But these are definitely your stronger singles hitters with outside utility. This is mostly just about bats, but these are definitely like your 6th to 9th picks if we're just going on bats.
Yeah, and I think a big thing about them is for like Noki, Daisy, Luigi, Baby Mario, for the most part, all of them except for really Wario and BJ, these are going to be singles batters at best. Now, Noki, you can argue she's going to hit like that. Sometimes her star hit will end for a double, but I think the biggest reason she kind of gets pulled down a tier from the other star hitters is that her star hit tends to not get as much leverage and it has low trajectory, which often will just hit it directly at an infielder. And if you pull the star hit with her, it really doesn't get through the infield, which some other characters can do. So I do think she has like the double potential. And then you look at like Wario and BJ, they can technically hit home runs. Their star hits are not bad. And they have okay slap hits. But the other characters, I think you're really just looking at a bunch of singles hitters that can get the job done if you need them to.
Exactly. And like Nick said, comfort here is a big thing because you've got like Maddie. Maddie is going to get on with Luigi and Daisy probably every time because he's some kind of animal.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Then you've got Nick, like he said, he's really good at slapping with Wario. I've gotten like pretty good at batting with Shy Guy because I like using him as a backup pitcher. And I'm trying to get good with BJ because I feel like I feel like he's a great.
I think he's a good one to get good with.
Because I mean, again, it's like I'm trying not to bring it up too much, but BJ is someone that some people pick for right field because of wall jump, and he pairs with Bowser, with Chem, and he does with if you have Bro, if you have Badge, if you have Bowser, that home run possibility does go up a bit. I've done it before. You can hit BJ home runs. So I think this is a bat that actually might have I'm not gonna call it untapped potential, but I think I don't even know if it's enough to say it would move up the tier.
I think you can call it that.
I think this bat could be better.
Absolutely, I totally agree. And I think Baby Mario is someone that we've been looking at a lot recently because his slap hit's pretty nice. He suffers from like the weak part of most characters, where if he hits it not in like his nice zone, he's gonna hit it right at a fielder and a ground ball. But Dennis, you've been pretty big on Baby Mario lately.
Yeah, I think he's a really good push hitter, and I think because he does have the 7 speed and he can bunt pretty well and beat it out for hits. Just like we see with Diddy. Diddy can really just beat out bunt hits even when it's not fielder glitched. And I think that really does offer some if you really want to move a runner at the bottom of your lineup to maybe get into a Bowser, to maybe get into a heavy or a star hitter, I think they're two really reliable characters that they can hit a nice little single on a push, or they can bunt a runner, and you're not going to be afraid to pop the ball up in the air and have a double play potential. And I think with all these characters, I would gladly own almost any of them on a team. I wouldn't own all of them because I would like to mix some power hitters in there, but almost all these characters, they can get the job done, and they can either have a star use, they can have a slap hit. You know, you have even Wario who, you know, as much as I dislike his charge swing, he can still hit home runs.
Yeah.
So I think they all do offer something.
Now, someone I would like to talk about, or two characters rather, that are very similar.
Hold your horses.
Oh, my horses are held.
I do just want to say one last quick thing about Baby Mario, because I think this is like one of those really, I think he's one of the best examples of why having these other tier list videos are going to be really helpful for some people, because you might be someone that thinks Baby Mario and Baby Luigi are like the same character because you never picked them and they both kind of just suck. This is the tier list to look at to see why there is like I think it's 3 spaces in between Baby Luigi and Baby Mario, because on every other tier list you see this week, they're probably going to be in the same tier. But this is the time that you can see that Baby Mario is he's a whole unit of hitting above Baby Luigi.
Yeah, and it's pretty notable too. Absolutely.
I'm sorry I cut you off.
No,
please bring up whoever.
We got to talk about some monkeys. Diddy and Dixie. They're both kind of hanging out here.
They are.
So I would say, and I think this is going to be a good discussion here, Diddy Kong, I believe, is better. I think most of us will agree on that. However, when you look at Dixie Kong as a slap hitter, she's just better. And do you guys not think that that's enough to kind of, do you think like the star hit that Diddy Kong has is so significant that it brings him above Dixie Kong in that factor?
Yep, 100%.
I agree. Yeah, I think it is enough.
Bunt is better too.
Okay.
Dixie pushes a little bit too far. And I've seen actually her double play because the ball's gone too far in the air to the third baseman. When you practice against a CPU, it's funny. She'll beat out every single ball. But when you use Diddy versus a person, it is very, very hard to crash to that ball and, you know, input it perfectly to the right base. So I think the bunt utility and the star hit, I think that there's more situations where Diddy's bat you're going to want, instead of maybe, oh, I have no stars and I have 2 outs and I need that single. Then I'd have Dixie.
So you think it's the options?
The options.
The versatility.
You have more versatility, I think, with Diddy.
The slap hit isn't leagues above Diddy Kong's enough to negate that star hit option.
Dude, I kind of feel like it might be, though.
Leagues, bro?
I think it's
don't
at least
so.
a league.
I think it is. I think you're offering me I think it's like a Big Mac versus a cheeseburger, but they're both from McDonald's. Like, obviously the Big Mac is better. You got 2 patties, you got more flavor. But at the end of the day, you're eating a burger from McDonald's and not a burger from a delightful gourmet burger restaurant.
Yeah, I think that's a good point.
2-star burger.
2-star burger. The 2-star burger either way.
The
At least
2-star
this one
nana.
got bananas on it.
The banana burger from Diddy.
I think the payoff difference between Dixie and Diddy, and I already just said I think Diddy has more universality. I think it honestly is the difference between Yoshi slap hit and Birdo slap hit. I think it is, you can make it work. You could definitely, you know, push the ball, but I think there's a lot more times where with Dixie's, it's, if you hit it right, it's unless there's Birdo at shortstop, it's going to land. Whereas with Diddy's, I've seen a lot of times it just go a little too far to the outfielder. Maybe not far enough, and the third baseman has a lot of time to jump up. But I will say with Diddy, he could beat out a lot of infield singles because that slow little moving trajectory where sometimes it gives you the third baseman, sometimes it gives you the shortstop. Not even with fielder glitch. It just gives you the fielder and he beats it out.
And also notable, Diddy is faster. Yeah, he has 1 speed better than Dixie Kong does, which
7 instead of 6.
Yes, which is relevant for sure, especially when base running is a game of inches and every second's going to count. Every fraction of a second's going to count for sure. I don't know much else to say about these guys. Actually, one more thing. Star hits from Daisy and Luigi. They both are basically used exclusively for sacrifices, in my opinion, because I think Daisy should be caught every time, and Luigi's you can just step back.
I think there's a league difference between Daisy
There
and
is.
Luigi's. You keep, and listen, I get that you guys like you think you're the best, and that's awesome. Like, I love that level of confidence. you can actually stop the Luigi ball every time by moving back.
Most of the time.
You're not guaranteed to catch the Daisy ball. It's way more likely to catch the Peach ball, as you can see the ball way earlier. But some people, they just like they'll play it right, they'll stand in the right spot, they'll dive, and the Daisy ball will just land like, oh shit, it was an inch further than I thought it was. F.
I think
Hit the wall sometimes. I think you can't. I think Daisy's is way more comparable to Wario's than it is to Luigi's as far as this tier.
That's
is
fair.
concerned.
That's fair, but I do think that Wario's is a true 50-50, while Daisy's is, I'm hoping my opponent is not capable of catching this. Well, now I do agree that Daisy's sack fly is better than Luigi's sack bunt, quote unquote. It's like a slack, whatever. So I do think she's definitely better. I don't question that at all, but I do think they fill similar roles, and like, I'm using this because I want to drive that run in, and this is like the option that I have. While Wario's is like, I might just get a triple off of this. Like,
you might get
like,
triple off Daisy's too.
Daisy's,
you're definitely, that's the thing, is you're definitely never getting a triple
that
off
is
of
true.
Luigi's.
I don't think you're ever getting a triple off Daisy's either, because
I've done
if
it
you're
multiple
not,
times.
yeah, but that's like more human error. Like if I'm playing and I don't think I can catch the Daisy ball because maybe my left eye has sand in it, I'm just gonna
fucking dragging him. Holy shit!
I'm just gonna run back a little bit.
Listen, he's not dragging me.
No,
It's
I'm
just-
not dragging you at all. No,
I'm not even insulted. To me, it's just like you're really queuing up for when you drop the Daisy ball. Everyone's gonna rip you a new one.
I know. But the thing is, what I'm saying, like, if that's the case, I'm going to just move. I will never play in front of the Daisy ball. I'm always going to play behind it so that when it drops, I will just pick it up and it's held to a double. I think that's like worst case scenario for Daisy ball. I don't think you should ever be giving up triples or anything.
So if you're watching this and you're like, oh, I can't catch the Daisy ball, like, what's the hot spicy tech?
Just be good at the game.
The hot spicy tech,
Get close and dive.
get close and dive.
Yeah.
I will say this. I have a lot of characters on my team that don't possess sliding catch. I'll own Paratroopa. I'll own Toadsworth in left and center. If that Daisy ball is hit to one of those characters, it is leagues more challenging to catch that ball.
Then if you have like Yoshi or Mario.
And a lot of times, in Joey's fairness, he owns Toadette almost every game, who does have sliding catch.
And she's big.
And she's big.
I think
so
that's a
she
big thing
can
with
catch it.
Toadsworth also. Toadsworth is a big character, so you kind of just got to be in the area. While with like, I'm not trying to rag on Baby Mario, but another thing about the babies, they're very tiny. So like, it'd be harder for this niche scenario. Or like Paratroopa, who has a bad dive and he's not a big character, he's like a normal sized character, you're gonna have a harder time catching it. So it does. Right. I'm not saying it has no value, but I'm saying like, if you're like decent at the game, you're probably gonna catch it 9 out of 10 times.
Yeah, and
I think it's more like, I really do think it's more like
4 out of 5.
4 out of 5 max.
Just another like suggestion for you all at home: if you have trouble catching the Daisy ball, if you get in the like area, you know that you're in the right area even before anything happens. If your character starts going like this, you wait. Your character starts like doing an animation when they're underneath a fly ball. So if you see that, that means you're in the right spot or within the vicinity,
and you can pretty much just stand there and you'll be fine.
Yep.
Like, you know what? As much as you've ragged on the Daisy ball, you've offered a great transition, because the Daisy ball, the garlic ball, the Luigi ball, and the Bowser Jr. ball, they're all fine star hits.
They're okay,
but they're not as good as the star hits in the next tier.
Whoa.
The mid tier is it's 6 characters that I'm about to name, and it's basically just a bunch of characters with really good singles bats and really good star hits, outside of one exception.
Yeah.
You got Paratroopa, you got Magic Koopa, you got Dry Bones. These are their slap hits are quite fine, and their star hits are delightful.
Excellent.
Then you've got Mario and Yoshi, whose slap hits are just fine, and their star hits are delightful, except the only difference is it costs 2 and does something a little wackier. And then you've got the last member of this crew is PM, who his slap hit isn't really anything, and his star hit isn't really anything. But because he is a low tier home run hitter, it puts him below the other home run hitters, but in this tier.
Still a great character.
So he's the hardest to compare to the other 5 people here, but this is the tier. So let's start.
Yeah,
Let's dive right into PM.
Just to, if you don't mind, fellas.
of course,
I see everybody with their hands up, ready to talk about PM. Yeah. So his big thing that kind of separates him from these characters, but fills a similar role. He doesn't need a star to get that nice line drive hit. And if he gets a good line drive, usually it's just going to be a single, but it can, push the fielder back or just be harder to field, helping you maybe score more runs depending on where it lands and stuff. Even if it goes to a fielder, in the outfielder, they're not going to catch it, which gets your base runner still going. Also, he can hit the wall sometimes. If you get like a nice gapper, he can hit gappers, he can hit the wall. You can put it over the wall, which is different from the rest of these guys, but he's a little less consistent than the people above him at doing so. So we felt that he landed around here.
Yeah, and something notable about Pianta, you're going to want to pick the pink / red variant, and you also want to make him a lefty because as a pull hitter, this is like a real stat in the game, he gets a multiplier for when he pulls the ball, and the right field wall is closer to home plate than the left field wall is in the corners. So that's why you want him righty. It makes the slightest difference, or lefty rather. It makes the slightest difference.
You're forgiven.
I think of almost any hitter you're charge swinging with, maybe outside of Bowser, I think PM has the highest hit trajectory. Almost any other character, if you charge swing and you don't hit it right, a lot of times it's going to go, you're going to pop it up, you're going to get jammed. He hits a lot of low balls off the end of his bat. And I think that is why he's in this tiers, because even if you miss on the charge swing, which is still, the thing you like the charge swing is because it's rewarding to get a homer. And when you don't get that homer on a charge swing, a lot of times it's not a hit. With PM, you can still get that reward by getting a double or getting a nice single. And even if you hit the ball to right field, that right fielder might get pushed back a little bit. So even if there's a character with laser like DK in the shortstop, might be able to score that run because of the pushback.
Because of his low trajectory.
Low trajectory.
Yeah, I think you said high earlier, but that's all the same.
An interesting low trajectory thing that, I know I'm not the guy who normally comes up and praises PM, but it's just something I've noticed with, I think probably him and I think DK is the only other home run hitter that does this sometimes. They hit a home run that's like, because literally everyone at this table, including Dennis now, can hit wall jumps.
Yeah.
But there's something about PM's home run that's like, just low enough. I'm awesome at freaking wall jumps. The game just doesn't let you do a wall jump if the ball's low enough.
Yeah, sometimes the ball will be too low. Sometimes the ball gets out too fast. It's all the laser low trajectory that he gets. DK gets it too. As far as PM goes, I think he's an excellent hitter. I think if people are more comfortable with him, he can definitely move up a bit. Yeah. I don't think he'll ever breach like the next tier, but I do think he is He's a great hitter.
He could be the upper side of
this. I think he'll be
That's
like,
why we don't rank him. There's no there's no clear cut answers.
He'll be like a respected home run hitter. He won't be like, oh, it's PM. Like he might hit one out. I think next we should talk about the star hitters.
Yeah, I think talking about the star hitters kind of like a group is totally acceptable, as they are all really basically very similar. There's a few nuanced differences, but honestly not so much in the bats.
Yeah.
So we got, just to remind you in case you're new here, Paratroopa, Magikoopa, Dry Bones. Those are the 3 star hitters. And all 3 of them, in my opinion, are, if you don't have stars, you're not like, oh, geez, like you are with Noki.
Yeah.
And if you do have stars, you're like, even better.
Free.
They're all very capable of hitting a clear-cut single with no star. And just like that, they are all capable of doing the same thing, expending a star, and getting a single or a double.
I think the biggest thing that you'll notice between these three is that Magikoopa and Dry Bones, they have better slap hits than Paratroopa, in my opinion. And I think the biggest reason for that is their bat speed. I think Paratroopa has pretty slow bat speed. So it can be like, it's a little harder to make good contact with him.
Is bat speed a real stat?
I think it is. I don't think it's
There's
confirmed.
Too many stats.
But if you look at it, you can definitely see that Magikoopa comes around much faster after your A press than Paratroopa. So
he's
I think
the one that goes blah, 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 when he's done. He's like, oh, I swung so fast.
Yeah, he does.
You know the
he
animation.
like gets off balance when you swing through something and strike out. So I think the thing that Paratroopa, since he has this slow bat speed, which may or may not be a thing, it feels like
it's in the moment. It's in the what's the acceleration? It's like
a
mystery stat we don't actually know
about.
But
we have a hunch. I think that might cause him to get less good contact because your timing is a little harder because it's not like you press A and the ball is hit type deal, which a lot of characters are like. But he does kind of make up for that in having a very good bunt. He's a very strong bunter. The ball drops right to the ground and will like just roll down the line. So I think he kind of makes up in that aspect.
I have tested the star hits for years, and I'll say if I'm just going off the star hit, not the single bat behind the star hit, just a star hit, I would go Madge in this tier, Madge, Para, Bones, only because Madges and Paras, they tend to get higher and they tend to have more curve and land for more extra base hits. And also, if you have Para or Madge on your team, it means that the other person doesn't. So if the ball is slightly lower, or maybe you hit it to left field, if you hit it with Para, there's not a Para throwing you out in left field. So it's going to be a double unless they have maybe like a Noki PM or something like that. And with Madge, when you own Madge, you have Madge at third. He's on your team. So his ball is by default going to land more to that left side for the most part.
That is a big thing there.
That's it. That is a really interesting point to make. It's kind of hard, like, I mean, even if you're trying to leave fielding out of it, yeah, I guess you can't, like if you literally are hitting with Madge, unless you're playing a modded version or like story mode, there's no way that Madge is someone that might catch the ball.
Yeah.
Which is something that I've ever, I guess, really considered.
It's a weird thing.
It's a weird thing to consider as a batting stat, is the fact that they're not going to be catching the ball.
Yeah.
But I do personally, I mean, I guess I don't know if it's an objective thing to rate the star hits. I just feel like I find myself having Bones land the most. I feel like Para and Madge more often than Bones go like right to DK, like F. I hate when that happens. Like I feel like Bones always kind of has like a little swoopty swoop for the technical term.
Yeah, the swoopty swoop. Yeah, no, of course.
And it's something I like a lot. And another reason that I think like what the objective person might can say about all these characters, which is really interesting, is that they're all really similar, except maybe Madge has the best star hit, Dry Bones has the best slap hit, and Para has the best bunt.
Yeah.
I think that might be like what an objective outsider would say. And then obviously, as the four of us, we play so freaking much, we have our own unique opinions about everything.
I could see that.
But they're all just like, they're so close to each other as far as like the batting stat goes.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah.
And Dry Bones is just recently kind of breached this area. We've kind of
we were so down
realized that
we were rude.
I've loved him. I've always loved him.
I like Bones. I think he's awesome.
loved him.
I've always loved him.
All right, so we got two more characters in this tier here. Let's talk about Mario. I think Mario is a character that brings a lot of versatility. He's got an excellent star hit, worth the 2 stars, because if you think of it as sort of a compared to say Birdo's Egg Ball, right? Everyone knows Birdo's Egg Ball. It's very notorious for being like, all right, I'm either going to get a double or a triple, or I'm going to get doubled up, but with my man on second, and I'm going to get hit into a double play. Mario, while it doesn't have like the ceiling that Birdo Ball does, if you get it past the infield, you're probably going to get a double, and you're going to score your run still. But if you hit it right at that infielder, it's going to pop the ball up, allowing you to return your runners back to their bases, and then you don't have to worry about getting double played. So I think that gives it some value. Not necessarily over like Egg Ball or anything, but I think that makes it an excellent star hit in my opinion. And then you look at Mario, and he's got a great slap hit. It's very, very serviceable.
Yeah, I love the slap hit. The slap hit's definitely the train that I'm gonna 9 times out of 10 I'm about with Mario. I'm not thinking about the fireball. I'm thinking about like he's got a very reliable slap hit. My gripe with what you just said about the fireball, and I mean, like, again, it's good if it gets through, is that in comparing it to the Birdo Ball is a little rough, because the Birdo Ball, like, it's like we even like tried running numbers on it one night and it was still weird.
Yeah.
Like, you really never know what that thing's going to do. You never know where it's going to land. You never know how many people are going to get out. You
Really
don't know if you're gonna
chaotic.
get a triple. The Mario Ball does, if you get to the outfield, like you're good, at least for 1 base, maybe 2. But I feel like more often, I feel like it's not as where Birdo feels like it's around 50-50 of whether or not it gets caught or doesn't. I feel like Mario's more often than not gets hit to an infielder and then it pops up and it's like, someone's gonna catch it.
I think it's just the lack of data on this. I don't think we've seen it enough personally.
That's definitely something to consider. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know what you mean though, for sure.
I think the thing with, Yoshi is when you own Yoshi, other person doesn't own Yoshi, increasing his bat because he can hit it to left and there's no Yoshi. He hit it to center.
Yeah.
And there's no Yoshi. Hits it to right. No Yoshi.
There's no Yoshi. So weird.
Yeah.
How that happens.
And I think the cool thing with both of them is that, like, they can hit inside pitches pretty well. They can hit to left, center, and right on, pretty good trajectory. And on off the plate pitches, they won't put it in play and have weak contact. They'll swing through it and they'll give you extra chances to readjust to the pitch and put it in play the next one. And I think that's what really separates the really good hitters from the really poor hitters, is that if you foul it off, you get an extra chance. You swing and miss, you get an extra chance. And if you hit it to left, center, or right, it can still be a hit.
So anyone have some stuff you want to say about Yoshi? I got a couple things, but I'll let you.
I think Yoshi and Mario as like a collection are actually an interesting like pairing, the way that we were discussing them right now, because they really are. I mean, like if you're removing their star hits, which I mean we aren't, but like if you were to, they really are like very similar. There's like two very reliable. Like if someone said you need to get a single right now, I would not be upset to have either one of them up. They might even be one of the people I would look to pick if I needed to get a slap single. And then the only real big difference between them is their star. Mario's being one that can produce doubles probably more often. But Yoshi's being the one that if it hits, you're probably getting on base.
Yeah, I agree.
Whether you're probably not getting the second, whereas Mario's you might. But like Yoshi's will get you where you're going. And I mean, I wasn't in the club way back. This is my time. I said way back.
Back way, yeah.
Back way. I'm not talking time. I'm talking distance.
Okay.
Back when I was in that basement in New Paltz, way over way. I wasn't in them, and that was when the blasphemy of Yoshi's Egg being bad started. And when I joined, everyone just told me it was bad. So I never I wish we had seasons of the Egg Ball, but that's this past season we've been using it.
We've got the future.
And all seasons in the future. I'm a big fan. It might be my favorite star hit.
So something that these two characters do differently that I actually wanted to bring up. I mean, obviously Yoshi's faster, so ignore that. When you get jammed with Mario, he pops it up. When you get jammed with Yoshi, he hits it on the ground, right? We can all agree on that. That's what happens. I think that hitting it on the ground in this case is just better.
Because Yoshi's fast, he could just beat it out sometimes.
So, but like even, I think even if it's like just right at the infielder and it's like a routine play, you're more likely for your fielder to bobble. Not that you're more likely to bobble a ground ball than a pop-up necessarily, but when you bobble a ground ball, the recovery is it's going to be slower because, for example, if I bobble this pop-up, probably just grab it again. But if I bobble the ground ball, Yoshi's already across the first base.
Exactly. Also,
just something to consider.
A grounder, you can't really. I'm going to say this is going to sound whack. I think you can use human error as an actual statistic here. Because a pop-up, there's no room for human error that isn't missing the pop-up.
Got to catch it, yeah.
You just got to catch it. Whereas the grounder, you have the same thing where you have to, as long as you don't not walk up to the ball, so you have that same chance there. But then on top of it, a grounder, you don't need to throw the right base. There's an extra step the user has to do to get someone out on a ground ball. And I'm not. It's a rare
very
thing.
Minuscule. Yeah.
It happens so rarely in this club that you'll hear like, oh my god, you might hear a pop off louder than a home run for someone doing something so idiotic,
like throwing to the wrong base. Yeah,
but it can happen.
Absolutely.
We've seen it happen.
Yeah.
So I think I'm definitely in the same camp that a grounder is better than an infield pop up.
Yeah, I just thought it was something interesting to bring up.
It's a good time to bring it up.
I'm ready to move on to this next tier, man. Because this is where the fatties start. This is where your good batters are. The real saucy
potatoes.
Ones.
I'm gonna call this the top tier because we call it the high tier in all the other videos because the tier above it has a good bit of characters to talk about. This is one of the few situations where there isn't much to talk about in the tier above that one. So this is our top tier, basically.
First of all, before we move on, I just want to say thanks so much for clicking on this video. If you're still here, leave a like, comment about any of our placements, and if you're like, oh, you're fucking wrong, because I want to know if you think that,
and if you're stupid,
and if you're dumb, because we're right.
Yeah.
And if you're not subscribed yet, please do. It helps us out a lot. Thanks so much. And let's talk about some of these batters. So
we call them the Lucky Seven.
The Lucky Seven. So we've got it's perfect. So we've got, in no particular order, Birdo, Toadsworth, Donkey Kong, Boo, King Boo, Petey Piranha, and any of the bros.
Bro.
They're pretty different characters for the most part, but we can get these ones out of the way. Your home run hitters: Hammer Bro, Petey Piranha, King Boo, We'll put Donkey Kong there for now, but
Put
there's going to
Donkey
be
Kong in
more.
there. Put him in there.
There's going to be more for him later. The home run hitters are some of your just like best characters all around.
Yeah.
Like you're never going to see a game without these guys at all. They are responsible for probably 75% of runs scored in any given game and season in general.
Yeah, what's better than just hitting it over the wall?
Yeah, obviously there are some that are better than others. For example, Petey Piranha has the highest power out of all of these, but he's a little hard to place the ball where you need to hit it and the timing and stuff. King Boo and Hammer Bro or Boomerang Bro, those are the two better ones. Can hit the ball to right or left field, which has its upsides because usually you'll see a wall jumper in right field, but not always in left. So hitting the ball to left is definitely a big advantage for those two characters. But it's a little bit harder to get the ball over the wall sometimes unless you get that nicer contact with them, rather than with Petey Piranha where it's just like, okay, I got the nice contact. It's gone. That's it.
Yeah, I would say something to get out of the way also. With as far as Bro goes, there are 3 variants. You have Boomerang, you have Hammer, and Fire Bro. Ignoring the 2 that we pick, Fire Bro, for anyone that's curious, because as a child, I was always like, well, Fire Bro's the coolest because he has flames on his bat. And he's also not a cheater because he's using a bat. He is considered worse because he has a different trajectory on his hit. He has low trajectory, so he often will hit line drives instead of home runs, and you kind of want to hit home runs with your home run hitter. So that's
He'd
just
still be in this tier, though.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
If we separated those 3,
But
they're all here.
What an asterisk, we put him a little lower. But I would say, if you talk like just the raw home run power, you're looking at Bro and you're looking at Petey, right?
Mhm.
So I personally think Bro's better. For a reason we have discussed previously in our original tier list, Bro will swing through bad pitches and not get like jammed for bad contact, while Petey, if you jam him, he makes bad contact and pops out. So Bro, you always get like that second chance that you really want if you really mess up on the pitch.
Specifically Boomerang Bro, who if he even makes contact with it, but it's not good, he'll hit it foul pretty often.
Yep. Yeah. So like it's kind of like a blessing and a curse for Boomer because you'll often hit the bad ones foul, but sometimes one that might just stay in fair territory with like Hammer Bro will just curve a little bit foul. So,
and what's interesting about what you just said with the PD versus Bro thing,
yeah,
is on an overall tier list, you see these 3 characters, PD, Bro, and KB, grouped together all the time, but the internal placements are different from person to person.
Yeah.
And that has a lot to do with their fielding capabilities, because PD is like the best catcher in the game and is the first baseman for the Dream Team, and KB is one of the best third basemen in the game and is the third baseman for the Dream Team. And Bro always kind of just gets dog watered on the field. Like,
He
he's
doesn't
kind
have
of
a
put him
spot.
wherever. He doesn't have a spot.
He's slow. His arm's okay. He doesn't have a high jump.
And that's where it gets convoluted. But on the batter tier list, it's kind of clean cut because
I agree.
Petey is just a home run or an out. Bro is just a home run or a foul or a miss. And then KB is versatile, and all of the things that if you don't do them right are fouls. So it's kind of with batting clean and concise that Petey is probably the worst of the 3 of them.
You know, you say it's like clean, but I actually think Petey's better than I personally have him above KB.
Interesting.
But it's not because I think KB's bad. I think they're very close. I think Bro's clearly the best of the 3, especially because with Boomer you have a slap hit option too, and everything else we've mentioned. But I think as far as Petey and KB go, when I'm looking at these characters, I'm saying I picked you because I want you to hit it over the fence, and Petey's going to do that more often than KB is. Plus, they both get jammed like the same way. So I know KB has the versatility. I love KB. I think he's a great character. But I think as far as purely batting goes, I think PD edges out just because you make contact with the ball in like a nice spot. That ball is going out. Like he hits a home run on good contact probably 9 out of 10 times.
Wow. So
yeah,
I have to be the bearer of bad news.
What does that mean?
I think we have to add DK to this list, and I'll tell you why.
Well, he's already on the list.
No,
Yeah, it's
the
not
list
really
of
bad
4.
news.
No, the list of 4. The list of 4.
The list of 3. Add him to the list of 3.
Add him to the list of 3.
Make it a 3 plus 1.
Yeah.
No, it's a list of 4.
Now it's a
Okay,
list of
I
4.
see what you're saying.
Okay, I understand.
Okay.
I think DK and Bro are in leagues of their own, not just because of the home run bat, because they truly swing and miss at inside pitches and can offer so much more than just a homer. So you don't know how to pitch to them. So an example, and this is hot tech. If I throw a meatball right down the plate to DK and they're slap hitting and I put it right down the middle, DK is going to hit it too far. he's going to hit it too far and it'll be at the fielder for an out. If I think he's charge swinging and I throw the exact same pitch and I throw it inside, he might swing and miss it. But if I think he's, for whatever reason, I throw it right to the middle again. If he charge swings, it's a home run.
Yeah.
Deke, if you throw the ball inside and he doesn't charge swing, you can L cancel, move out of the way, push it to left. Outside the plate, same thing, pull it. So it's like no matter what he's doing, he has a soft spot. But if you don't know what the hitter's going to do, you're effed. You're effed no matter what. And I think that DK, we saw in this playoff series, we saw him used to his top potential. Like every person who uses DK hit home runs with him. Like you crushed it with him.
Yeah,
I crushed it with him. Maddie crushed it with him. And it's like, I really think that of the heavy hitters, I genuinely believe that Petey's the easiest to pitch to. I really do. I think the only thing with KB is that people don't understand his bat is shorter than what it looks, and people will swing at outside pitches, and they'll say, oh, why didn't I hit it? With Petey, if you throw it inside and you make one wrong mistake as a hitter, you pop it up and it's an out.
I think now that we're talking about DK, we can just kind of add him to the mix. I think he's better than all these characters at batting.
Well, he's better at batting because he can do everything.
His
else.
versatility, while it is harder for him to hit home runs, I think that his versatility and his ability to still do all of these things, like DK, maybe he's a little harder to hit home runs with than the other characters, but he has that star hit.
I actually think him and KB might be like equal difficulty.
Oh, I don't think so at all, man.
I think KB's way easier. But hey, to each their own. But I think like when you look at it as home run hitters, DK is probably the worst of the four. But then you say, okay, well, DK has one of the best star hits in the game. So, there's that factor. And then, hey, DK can also slap it. That's kind of weird.
That was the exact thing that I wanted to bring up because of Dennis's choice of words that say add DK to the list.
We weren't talking about DK.
I was like, that's the mistake, is that you add DK to that list, you're making him the worst because that was a list of home run hitters.
Yeah.
You should say the coolest thing is that DK's on every list.
And he also is just like, and he's at the top of one of them, I think.
Oh, for sure. I mean,
star hitters. I think DK. Let's go to the star hit aspect of this. We'll talk about DK and Birdo.
Let's do it.
And to an extent, Toadsworth, but we'll kind of really just talk about DK and Birdo. I think DK star hit is consistent. It does what you need it to do. Let's ignore how DK has a smaller bat than Birdo. We're talking like the actual star hit itself, because if you're good, you're probably going to make contact. DK star hit lands, I want to say like 80% of the time, maybe even more. It lands for a double almost every time it lands. Birdo,
and it never gets double played.
You do not get double played because it's in the outfield, guaranteed, no matter what,
and can still be productive because you can send the runner back and move the base runners.
So DK
could also end up being foul sometimes.
Yes. Now
honestly, it happens often.
It happens every now and then, for sure.
Because
it is a curved hit. If you don't know DK star hit, it's the banana that curves. Now we look at Birdo. Birdo, more often than not, Birdo's a 2 outcome on her star hit. It's either going to be the nastiest hit you've ever seen, or it's going to be hit directly at a fielder and be an out. But the problem with Birdo is if you hit it right at that fielder, you're getting doubled up no matter what. Like if you have a runner on second, that runner is out. You don't have time to react. It is what it is. But you look at it, we've all seen Birdo inside the park home runs. We've seen Birdo triples on the regular. Like that happens pretty often. And double is like her base for this. So you look at DK, who also has this double that he gets so often, but Birdo can do it as well and then more. But it's like a risk reward thing. And I think DK gets the benefit in my eyes because he's more consistent and it's a safer, lower risk bet.
I think objectively it's impossible to call because how do you weigh like chaos theory? Like how could you say that it's like because you have to take a chance, it's not worth it? Because there could be a world where you go for it 5 times in the game and you get a triple 5 times, and obviously it is better than DK's if that happens. But with the whole thing with the egg off is I love consistency. That's why I like the Yoshi egg more than the Birdo egg. I don't think I can say the Birdo egg is worse than the banana ball, but if you were like Tyler, there is a guy on second. That guy's name is Mortimer Yoshi. Little known fact about Yoshi. Mortimer's his first name.
Well, it's well known now.
Yeah, sorry Yoshi. Outed.
He's really embarrassed about it.
You got Yoshi on second. If you tell me I have to get Yoshi in using a star hit,
and
it's DK or Birdo?
DK
Like a
every
DK.
time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If it's the base is loaded and you're like, you gotta score as many runs as possible, and it's Birdo DK, that's where I don't know what you do there.
I get it.
Oh, I still pick DK.
I still pick DK also.
Absolutely.
I think he's just a safer bet. Lower risk with a similar reward.
Well, I mean, I disagree. I think in that situation, it's definitely a lower risk. But Birdo can score. Birdo literally has the ability to score more runs than Donkey Kong in that instance.
Well, you could
it's not
technically
guaranteed.
you could technically hit a home run, yeah. But like DK, if you watch one of the games of playoffs, I can't plug the exact one. It was in the World Series though. I was down like 4-0, bases loaded with DK, cleared the bases with the banana ball.
That's awesome.
and
And
put DK on second, right?
What's that?
Put
And
DK
yeah,
on
it puts him
second.
on second. Yeah, I think that it's hard to compare, but I do
We are
think
all in agreement that DK's is the more consistent
Yeah.
of the two.
I
Yeah.
think so. But now, so like, look at the other star hitter in this tier. A non-captain. You have Toadsworth. Toadsworth is praised, for having the most consistent singles bat. You make contact, you're probably hitting a single. However, he has the option for a star hit that might give him a double, which is, why not just take this great hitter and make him a little better?
Mhm.
I think Toadsworth's right where he belongs.
Yeah,
I-
think this is good company.
And you know
for
what?
him.
Let's just the last two characters here: Toadsworth and Boo.
Yep.
They're both hitters that can hit doubles, and both very consistent singles hitters. So you look at Toadsworth, who gets on almost every time. When you look at Boo, I feel like he'll more often get hit into an out because he'll like hit little like ground balls sometimes. But when you hit the ball into the outfield, you're getting doubles so often, it's ridiculous and certified star free. No stars needed.
Absolutely.
True.
Yeah, Boo is kind of in a league of his own in this game, where he's pretty much the only character who's hitting doubles that aren't going to the wall without a star.
Like
And-
consistent.
And
Because
and
that's
it's not
weird, that
it's not
trajectory is
yeah,
so weird.
it's the curved trajectory, yeah. And the thing is, like, it's not that hard.
No.
Like I could give the controller to my mom and she could probably hit a Boo double within the hour. Young game.
Nice job, Mrs. Keller.
So yeah, no, I mean, I definitely think like a Boo is definitely better than a character like a Toadsworth, but they deserve to be in similar company for sure. They're definitely scoring runners pretty easily, and getting on base really often.
I think on top of them just being in this list as singles hitters, I think for lineup construction, I think it elevates the rest of your team having them. Because when you're owning Boo at the mound, you don't have to own another pitcher. I'm pretty sure Boo is the only character in this game that can get an extra base hit and you don't need to use a star who pitches. Everyone else, you either need to use a star or you're playing a really bad pitcher like maybe Petey Piranha.
Yeah.
And you're getting
Thick.
and with Toadsworth, you are good because the thing is with the star, you don't want to ever have too many star hitters because what happens when you have guys on base and you don't have the stars? And now your lineup is based off of have star use, like a Birdo with a DK, right? You own a star hitter and you don't need the star. You own Boo, you have an extra base hitter. You don't need the star. It makes every other hitter because almost every person that's in meta either A, hits home runs, or B, uses or needs stars to elevate their game. Those two characters are elevating, like Bowser, everyone else because you're getting extra base hits potentially with or without having to use a star and pawning them on other players. I think
Dennis.
that's another huge reason why we see him high in this tier list as just a hitter and overall throughout the game.
You spoke his name.
You said it.
You must go on.
I was gonna say, the funny thing is, you're arguing like Nick said, so like, oh yeah, Boo's better than Toadsworth, and I think he is right. But wouldn't it be awkward if we bumped Boo up into the Bowser
It
tier?
would be weird. Why don't we talk about our last tier? Dennis, you take it away. Big boss Bowser.
Bowser's incredible. I think he's the easiest character in this game to not just hit a home run with, probably get on base with because you're getting walked.
Yeah.
So you're getting a guy on base. So he's the best quote unquote singles hitter in this game.
It's so funny.
If there's bases loaded and an out or even two outs, you're probably walking in the run as well, unless you have maybe like Hammer Bro or something behind him, which I would still do because Hammer Bro is easier to pitch to.
Yeah, because if you think of it, if you pitch to Bowser and give up a grand slam, yeah, you could walk Bro, but like it's 4 runs versus 5. It's still like a ton of runs.
Yeah. And, the thing with Bowser is that, like we've said before, he has you throw it inside, he swings and misses, you have 2 more chances. You throw it inside, he can foul it off. You throw it outside, he can still pull it. Like,
Yep. If he hits the ball, it's out. Almost every time.
Anything thrown near the plate, for you to legitimately swing and miss at any of these pitches, it has to be so far inside and so far outside, and he still makes contact to it to not just get on base, to hit it for a home run. So as a hitter, it makes it easier because you have to throw it so extreme in and off the plate. And even then, he still hits it. It's just, and the same thing too, he does have a star hit, which you don't have to use. Yeah, but there's times if it's bases loaded, there's an out and it's like 8th or 9th inning and I just need one run to win the game, I'll hit the star hit, I'll push the second baseman back to the freaking back of the fence, I'll just run the runner in and I win the game.
I'm gonna be honest, I'm probably still charge swinging. But
yeah, I'm probably still charge swinging too.
I will say a big thing about Bowser. Oh man, it was right in my head. Oh, okay. So like the biggest relief in the world, you're pitching to Bowser. You're a fool. But you're foolish enough to pitch to Bowser. He pulls the ball, he absolutely rips it, but he gets the low trajectory and hits it right at your right fielder, and it's just a single.
Lucky.
And you've lucked out. That is like the biggest like I messed up and I got lucky.
Yeah. So, oh no, I accidentally walked.
Exactly.
So here's another interesting thing about Bowser that I haven't played around with, but some people have, and apparently it's pretty good. It's got a bunt.
Oh yeah, I've heard that his bunt is like really good.
Why would you ever do that?
I don't know if you need to sack bunt or just bunt.
Well, couldn't you just hit a home run?
Yeah, no, I agree. But bunting, you just got to hold the bat out.
It's like the same argument as it's like, oh, bottom of the ninth, I only need to score one run to win the game. Sure, you could bunt, I guess.
Well, a bunt is a lot less. Look, it's a lot easier.
It's an option too.
It is an option.
Options are great.
I don't know if it's. I'm gonna be honest. Bowser's so broken. I think it might actually be harder.
Look, you got to time a hit.
To bunt with Bowser than it is to hit a home run. Because if you bunt with Bowser, you might bunt wrong. You might bunt the wrong way. You might bunt to the pitcher. They might catch it and he's out.
Well, no, his bunt like hits it into the ground. That's like why it's
I want to ask what you guys at home think. Yeah. Is it easier to bunt with Bowser or hit a home run? Let us know in the comments down below.
That's such a weird question.
The fact that I think there could actually be a debate on it.
Yeah, I think it's just you look at Bowser, right, and he's a character where he's like a 3 outcome guy, and a normal 3 outcome guy is like home run, walk, strikeout. Bowser's 3 outcomes are like home run, walk, or walk. Like he doesn't even have his 3rd outcome. Like it's just like he's going to get on base, and it's such like a threat. And we've said this before. I've seen Bowser walked 6 times in one game. 6. Like first of all, he got 6 at bats, so like I was probably getting his ass beat. But like you walk him all 6 times, and that's just that's 6 free singles. Insane.
Dan loved the walking me that game.
It was probably I think Cokes actually did it too. So maybe it was you. It might have been you. I think it was Cokes that did it. He's a big Bowser walker.
He's a walkies for Bowser kind of guy.
Like some would say that's the smartest thing one could do.
It is the smartest thing one can do.
I think it truly comes down to in an objective world, computer versus computer, you walk Bowser every time.
You know, like how Dare had like the keep kids off drugs thing. Mm-hmm. We need like something for Mario Baseball where it's like keep kids off pitching to Bowser. And it's just we need to talk to you.
I immediately was like, oh, you just call it Dab because for some reason the R in Dare was the one you'd replace.
Dabe.
What does Dare stand for?
I have no idea. Drug and alcohol, probably. First 2.
Drug, alcohol, really
epic.
And
All right, everybody. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I appreciate it so much. Tomorrow, I believe, is going to be the pitching tier list. Yep. So stay tuned for that. I hope that you found this video cool and informational. If you did, please let us know. Leave a comment down below. If you want to support what we do here on the YouTube, we have a Patreon. The link is down below. The patron cards are on the screen right now. If you become a patron at any level, it helps us out a ton. And there are many perks to becoming a patron, especially $5 and up. Once Season 8 starts, you will be getting all the games instead of getting them like dispersed throughout the week. You'll be getting them Sunday night at 11:59 Eastern time.
Whoa.
So, or, midnight to make it more simple on Monday.
Yeah.
And
really cool.
It's closer than you think.
It's closer than you think, guys. So, literally ask any of the patrons. They love getting the games early. They get to talk about them before any of you dorks. So, thanks so much for
dork.
Ooh, thanks so much for watching, guys. We appreciate you so much. And don't forget to dare to not pitch to Bowser.
Yeah, D
Thanks.
as in Dinger
Wouldn't it
City
be
out.
dare to pitch to Bowser?
Thanks so much for watching, everybody. And we will see you guys later. 1, 2, 3. Dinger City out.